Good morning, TI community. It's Anna Kaspar. It's 7:55 a.m. on 2/6/2017. Thank you so much for the more letters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're getting there. We're getting there. Keep those UN letters coming. Please continue to refer people to me for them to send an original email. I'll send the draft copy. They just have to adjust a little, send it back to me for edit. I edit, send it back to them for final signature. They copy, send it back to me with final signature on. My goal, and I might extend another week, is to get 30 people. I think if we have another week, we'll have 30 people. And it's imperative that we really come together as a community for this. And the reason is that we appear to be in process of lessening these campaigns, at least somewhat. I know for many that's just not the case, and I know there's a lot of new people who have come in to these programs. But I do think there are some things happening that will adjust the program so that it is much more narrowed and it is less it's less criminal. So that's really great news. But in the meantime, we need to express for the world the need for heightened human rights, because we see this influx of authoritative administrations coming into many countries. And we see an influx of kind of like military police state mechanisms coming into our country. And we were just downgraded into as being a flawed democracy, not being a true democracy, and certainly not being a social democracy like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Norway are. So, and Iceland. So I think it's really important for the health of our country to do this. And remember, we go to the UN, but the next stop is Donald Trump, which brings me to my next thought for today. I recently reviewed a letter that was drafted by a bunch of really fine folks. I think, I don't know where it exactly went, but it went out on January 25th, and I began speaking with, I think it was Catherine Horton and a few others around the 18th, and it's directed to Donald Trump. And here's the problem with that letter, and why I have spoken so strongly about unity and about transparency and sharing of information, so we can stop any potential damage that can be done to any kind of class forming and individual claims. Because one of the major problems that TIs have had, and it was part of the intelligence program, in the past has been a lack of credibility. And the way they approach significant parties to ask for remedy, or in many cases demand remedy. And there's a really critical way to do this so that you don't harm any legal claims or any legal standing anywhere at any time. And it's incredibly important that you be, regardless of your signature, of who you are, but you're speaking in the most credible legal way possible. And that means not blasting with over information, not using terminology that the intelligence agency actually has planted, and not having any kind of public document or website that, oh, what's my word here? And it's difficult because we're all so shot. I mean, I got jolted, and you can see my eyes. Yeah, I got jolted last night. I thought my head was going to explode at 2:30. I've been up since then, and I'm done with these guys. Really done, because they're getting extremely aggressive because I'm done with them. But that letter needed to be very carefully edited and vetted by legal counsel before it went anywhere, because it actually, because of its structure and what it says, the way it says it mostly harms legal claims. That's just the bottom line. And from my perspective, given the damage that we have experienced to date, we have no room for more harm, for more damage. And there, given the successes that I have had in the past, legally, and also I should have been dead. I mean, I really did an incredible job on my own for 6 years when I should have been dead many times. So I'm going to ask the folks who signed that letter. It was drafted, I believe, by Romola, Catherine. I'm not sure who else drafted it around the weekend of the 25th of January. And I'm not quite understanding why I didn't see it, because I would have said, oh, guys, you know what? Lots of incredible information, really well, well done. But that's not something that can go public, particularly to the president or anybody. That doesn't go before anyone of import, because it hurts our claims, personal and class. So I'm gonna plea that before you send anything out, anything anywhere, because you have a responsibility to this class of people, and because it makes my job so much more difficult to get class counsel and to get counsel to represent us, because we're not looking as credible as we should. We have to be so buttoned down. We have to look like every other movement out there, no matter how egregious the acts against us. We have to be pristine, and so I'm going to ask you, please, please share the communication with me. Let me give you my input, and please let me know, because if you insert something like that on the 25th of January, if it is in Donald Trump's office, you undermine the move to the UN, to Donald Trump, to senators, to justice, to everybody. Because what happens, just so that you understand this, because so many people have written letters over the years, the letters that pretty generally come in are really poorly composed, are kind of like screaming, are kind of making accusations that cannot be proven, and this is really critical. You never put something down on a piece of paper unless you can prove it right there. You don't do it. You can say things in a way that articulate exactly what it is that you need in your questing and what you've gone through, without making definitive claims and accusations that you cannot prove, or you put class counsel or other counsel in a compromised position because the information you're letting out is being used to discredit true legal claims and also the community. So one of the major reasons why no one's been able, not no one, but very few people have been able to get incredible counsel or incredible class counsel, is because the community is seen as this kind of roughshod, rough and tumble pirate group that doesn't know how to approach the powers that be, whether they're executive, legislative, or judicial, correctly, in a non-inflammatory, non-accusatory, regardless of what we've gone through. I know how difficult it is, but let's look at the examples of this. The Women's March, there was absolutely no violence, zero. It was the best organized demonstration in the history of the planet, because people weren't. They were coordinated, calm, disciplined. They worked within the law. I work with them, so I know. And then you look at other demonstrations that have occurred in the same period since the 21st of January. It's not that way. Who's more credible? Who has the power? You know who has the power. So while the letter was excellent in terms of data, I pray it didn't go out. 2, handling dissent with dissent and infiltration and all that silliness within our own community. If you have a true concern about anyone in the community, or any actions that are being taken, please use a democratic process, which means to go to the people personally if you can, especially if you risk saying something that might be slanderous, defamatory, or libelous. You don't do that, ever. and you discuss with them what your concerns are. And if you don't get true remedy, and you discuss based on facts and evidence, all right, even circumstantial, you discuss based on facts and evidence, no rumors, no innuendo, no speculation, no pontification, straight up factual. And if in that conversation you're unable to get the the satisfaction that you need to know that the person is not of harm to the community, then you have a right to bring it to the community's attention. But you better be really careful the way you do that. And I would strongly urge that if you are in this position of querying about someone, that you put everything in writing to cover your butt. And then the community will work with that person and make a decision as to whether or not that person really should be in the community. And that includes for infiltrators. Infiltrators and negative influencers need to be quarantined. I'm certainly like an authoritarian myself, but the truth is, if you see that someone's repeatedly negative and repeatedly undermining the movement, undermining positive movement forward, exceptional actions, that person has to be quarantined. Those people have to be removed from any sphere of connect or influence because there's been too much damage done for the past 10 years because of exactly people like that. And again, a democratic process though, which means give the person a warning, like 3 warnings, and then really try to discuss with them what the issues are, why you're concerned about them in the community, why, stay in transparency. It always works. And if they fail to act in a respectful, legal manner within the community, and if they continue to act in a way that actually damages the community, then they really need to be removed because then they're an infiltrator. They may not even know they are, but you have to be really careful. And this goes from the person who's just kind of, what do you call those folks? A troll on calls to the person who has an enormous amount of influence but is actually undermining true positive legal movement forward. And legal movement is what needs to be done because we need to change laws. And the only way that laws ultimately get changed is when a group of people come together in a very disciplined, rational, and legal manner and present their claims in a non-inflammatory, very narrow way. Because at the end of the day, cases evolve individually with the discovery of evidence. You do not want to put any lawyer in compromise because they can't prove something because there's this data out there that undermines your case because you were a part of that data. Don't go there. Don't go there. Less is more, less is more, less is more, less is more, particularly when you're writing to influential people. You have to give them, they know about these programs. They've seen a bazillion letters. They know. But you have to come to them in a deeply diplomatic way that gives them the opportunity to actually work with you rather than to look at something and go, oh my God, no, I don't want to touch this. This is the hottest potato ever. What you want is you want to deliver a potato that's warm, that they can actually enjoy eating, and they will be there for you. And that's how true change occurs. It's not a confrontation, and it's not it's a coming together and basically saying, okay, this is an evolving issue. You may not have understood this well enough, but this is how serious it is. These are the things that we request and require, and this is how you can help. But you do that in private. You don't publish that. And you also, even when you're doing that in private, keep it extremely limited to protect your evidence and the evidence of the class and the claims of the class and your claims. Okay, I think that's it. I'm fried because I've been up since 2:30. I'll try to get some work done. I have to do my laundry. I have to clean my house. I'll do my best, but we might extend the deadline one more week because there's a lot of people coming in, which is fantastic. And I invite the folks who signed off on that letter, and I have Ramola's and I believe I have Ella's, I believe. to also participate in this UN filing, because again, if we do this correctly as a unified group, we'll be really successful. But if we do this scattershot and we do things that undermine our legal foundation, they look at it and they go, ah, and that's it. They're not going to do it. So, although I'm going to say that I think we're in actually a really good place, but I'm very concerned because it almost looks like as good as a place that we could be in with laws that changed, we now have an even more authoritative government in place. And that authoritative government is not just the United States, it's popping up all over the place, where even more restrictive personalities are being introduced that are regressive. And that's a great concern. And it's a great concern to me because Florida has been an exceptionally difficult place. Sarasota was pretty good. I got it under control until I started working on this. And you know what? I don't need to do this. I can walk away from this and do 1,000 other things, So please work with me on the things that you're doing so that you don't harm the class of people so very harmed already, and you don't harm my claim or yours. For anyone who needs to reach me, please email me at AnnieKaspar, ANIKASPAR, @gmail.com, or give me a call at 941-356-8007. And I don't mean to be sounding disciplinary lately, but I'm just noting some things that, I'm working with very serious legal counsel to make sure that we do this right. So that we can get true remedy, whether it's in the courts or it's in the legislature or it's with the executive or wherever. I don't care, but I know how to do it because I did this with my own case. So I again finally plead with you: if you're going to publish anything that affects the class, please run it past me first, especially now as we approach the UN and stuff. I mean, I suppose I can have a separate group that's a really well-disciplined group, and we can focus like that. That might happen, but I'm also asking the rest of you to please don't harm the class, don't harm my claims, don't harm your claims, and please understand this has to be done legally correctly. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll see you guys soon. I'm setting up another GoFundMe account. If GoFundMe lets me, I don't know, because I can't even get the $90 that was sent for the copying and the mailing out because GoFundMe is not answering my emails because I haven't accessed these accounts for like ever. And I only keep them up, by the way, for data purposes and for tracing activity on those accounts, because there was a lot of shuck and jive with those accounts, and that's why the fundraisers were not successful. I am not raising funds for my business or for my personal self. I'm raising funds only for the work I'm doing here. I am not charging for my time. I'm not charging for my computer. I'm not charging for anything except the physical manifestation of documents that is necessary. But if you have any questions, just email me. Again, Annie Kaspar at ANIKASPAR and at 941-356-8007. Thank you.